Welcome to the Weather Guru podcast for Thursday, July 20th, 2023. We're going to be talking about the tropics as well as the hazards. But first, our thoughts and prayers are out for those involved in the North Carolina tornado that damaged the Pfizer plant and shut down I-95. It was the EF3, which is a pretty major tornado, according to the National Weather Service. You can see storm damage here in Nash County, North Carolina, which is the county Rocky Mount was in. It did a lot of damage to trees, uprooted houses, leveled roofs on houses, and did a lot of damage there in that area. A Pfizer plant was damaged, several structures were damaged, and I-95 was shut down at least partially on Wednesday afternoon. So peak winds are 150 miles an hour. It tore through Dorchester and Nash County. That's about 45 miles northeast of Raleigh, North Carolina. And it ended 9, and it was on the ground for about at least a couple more minutes, and it lasted 9 miles east-northeast of Brattleboro in Edgecombe County. Maximum whip path was around 600 yards. It's the first EF3 tornado in North Carolina during the month of July, the Weather Service said. As you know, the scale runs from 0 to 5, and so EF3 wind speeds are up to 150 miles an hour. There's the Pfizer plant. You can see the damage is done to that plant. It's going to take months for the supply chain and the type of drugs that they deliver for hospitals and stuff to be coming back online. So our thoughts and prayers are with Nash County and Rocky Mount. Now, looking at the National Weather Service hazards, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that clearly heat has been the story, but as well as flash flooding in this green areas here. So for Middle Tennessee, if you're coming up I-24 up through the Mount Eagle Pass, be very careful. If you're coming along I-75 through Sweetwater and Cleveland, Tennessee, just northeast of Chattanooga, be very careful. There's a flash flood watch there in effect. There's also excessive heat warnings in effect for, of course, it's the same usual areas from Dallas-Fort Worth all the way across I-20 through Baton Rouge, Shreveport, up through Arkansas, of course, Little Rock, Fayetteville, Mountain Home, Conway, El Dorado, down through Greenville, Mississippi, Tupelo, Jackson, okay? Heat out west is no surprise, but Phoenix, Arizona, you've eclipsed 15 days with temperatures 110 degrees and more. So from Tucson to Phoenix, through the Rim Country Valley, up through Henderson, Nevada, Sparks, into the Mojave, the high deserts, the low deserts, and into the central Joaquin Valley. So if you're in Bakersfield, Fresno, you guys are baking up on the 99 freeway, as well as this, even up into the Upper Valley, Sacramento, Apple Valley. If you're along I-15 there, coming through Citrus Valley, Apple Valley, Sacramento, north of there, Sheridan, down south, Tracy, Modesto, all these areas are baking, and into the interior Intermountain West, Salt Lake City, you're included, Ogden, Primo, Provo, all these areas, St. George, Utah. And then we have those excessive heat warnings that are going to be in effect for the next couple of days through the weekend. You might also say through Saturday, those are going to be into effect. Severe thunderstorm watches out into the Front Range here from Denver, out through Kansas, and into the Panhandle of Oklahoma. And then always on the Great Lakes here, Cleveland, Indianapolis, South Bend, Fort Wayne, Dayton, Lima, places like that in Ohio as well, and then a little bit of Erie. So that's what we have in front of the National Weather Service current hazards. But all in all, if you're in these heat warnings, it's a beautiful day. There isn't too many storms in a lot of areas here, but we just have to be careful to inform you that there is flooding still going on in Vermont and in upstate New York. So if you're in Queensbury, coming up I-87 there, Lake George, Vermont, Montpelier, Burlington through 83, the White Mountains of Vermont, and also upstate New York, heading in towards Canada, the Canadian border, be very careful. The rain is still draining there, and there's still some showers around there as we speak. Now, the tropics have been absolutely blessed for us this week. Don is out there just floating around. It's still a tropical storm. This is a long-lived tropical storm. It's a fish storm, a maritime storm, only affecting shipping lanes here. It's well southwest of the Azores now. Winds are at 50 miles an hour, so it's pretty healthy, even though the convection is small and compact here. West-northwest at 9 knots, 10 miles an hour. So pressure's down to 1,002 millibars. It's expected to remain a tropical storm here, and I want to show you the map real quick here about Don. Now, Don will eventually, it made its loop-de-loop this week, and eventually will head back up towards Newfoundland and the Canadian Maritimes, and then head back out as a depression once it reaches the colder waters of the North Atlantic out there So finally, we look for dawn to be dissipating later on by Monday of this coming week. Now, we also have this disturbance that's coming up. Many people say this in the next 7 days, this could be developing into Emily, or at least to an invest or a tropical depression. Right now, the Hurricane Center only gives it through 7 days, a low 20% chance of development and a 0% chance through 48 hours. We have a bunch of dry air up to the north, and dusty Saharan dust layer is still here. And we also have a wind shear that's also preventing this system from organizing, even though it just came off the coast of Africa. However, that could be changing in the next week or two, so we have to keep an eye out for this one as well. Okay. Now, in the Eastern Pacific, we don't have nothing too crazy. We just have a typical medium development, 60% chance of development for this. But most of these storms out here are moving west northwestward at 15 miles an hour, so it won't be affecting Baja or Cabo San Lucas or any of the coastline of Mexico. So that's great news. And typically, these storms tend to move away from land during the month of July in the Eastern Pacific. In the Central Pacific, they have gone through Calvin, and the remnants of Calvin, what's left of it, is totally gone. I can show you the satellite view here. It's very small, so the rain has stopped on all of the islands of Hawaii, and they can enjoy sunshine. Just occasionally some elevated surf coming in from the east-northeast. Some swells will continue there, but that's going to die down as well later on in the day. So looking at the radar here, you can see we have those showers in the central part of Denver, up through Cheyenne, the I-25 corridor through Colorado Springs, and ejecting out into the plains, high plains of Kansas and high plains in Nebraska there. And then we have this shower complex down here that I'll tell you about, the flooding rains down here from Knoxville down through Chattanooga and I-75, I-81, I-40 heading back towards Asheville. It's going to be raining and wet. Even the North Georgia mountains getting into some heavy rain here. And so if you're coming up to Atlanta through the perimeter there, it's going to be rainy. Georgia 400, be very careful. Through Roswell, Alpharetta, Cobb County. Also on the northeast side of town, if you're coming up 85 just south from Lawrenceville, Athens, down south there, you want to be careful. There's some strong storms down there, and flooding, blinding rains could be a concern on the rush hour commute. Now, looking at the radar scope here, I want to show you the flood watch and warning here. This is for the one I was telling you about in Tennessee. This expires in about next 10 minutes here. Bedford County, Cannon County, Crawford County, Grundy, and Warren County. Doppler radar indicated strong thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warning area here. So flash flooding could be caused by some of these thunderstorms. If you're in any of these areas here, heading to up I-24, once again through Whitwell, Tracy City, up through the Mount Eagle Pass here, almost approaching Murfreesboro. So between that area there, but these storms have now ejected eastward here. I put the map in motion here, and you can see these storms are ejecting southeastward here, pushing southeastward through Saudi Daisy, Dayton, Tennessee, through Charleston, Tellico Plains, through some of the eastern counties here, of the eastern highlands of Tennessee, the Appalachians here, through Knoxville here, heavy rain. Some of the heaviest rain here have shifted southward now into the North Carolina mountains. So if you're on 441 here, or the Smoky Mountain Expressway coming through Clayton, Brevard, Dillard, Franklin, North Carolina, and the Nantahala Forest here, you're getting heavy rain here if you're out there hiking or doing anything on the Appalachian Trail or the Blue Ridge Trail, Blue Ridge Parkway, heavy rain is forecast here. 1 inch and a half rates of rain are coming down here. And then south of there, once again, Gainesville, I-85, 985. If you're coming south through Commerce, Georgia on 441, through Athens, heavy rain here. As you can see in some purple here, some small hail here could be detected in this core here just south, heading into Athens right now. Could be just nickel size or pea size hail, but there is strong storms coming in here in this area. So I just want to highlight that for you here. If you're in Georgia, northeast Georgia, or in Atlanta, Atlanta's getting heavy rain too as well here. We zoom in here, heavy rain coming here to the south side of the north side of Atlanta, through downtown, through the midtown, and just shy of the College Park and the airport area. So I hadn't gotten to the airport area yet, but expect some delays there. Now elsewhere, there's a severe thunderstorm warning just issued right now for the Atlanta area. So if you're in DeKalb County, Fulton County, southwestern Rockdale County, severe thunderstorm. These are mainly for gusty winds, 60 mile an hour gusts, and penny size hail. There it is. So I just talked about that, and now we have the warning issued right here. So expect damage to roof, siding, and trees. Penny size hail, 60 mile an hour winds coming through Atlanta right now, and you can see the outflow, the southern suburbs here. You can see the outflow boundary right about here. So if you're in East Point, Stonecrest, coming up I-20 through Covington, Georgia, be very careful in the next 25 minutes here for extreme heavy rains and penny-sized hail. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for Clayton, DeKalb, Douglas, and Fulton counties here for the next 25 to 30 minutes here. Elsewhere, we just have some special marine warnings for the lake here, Lake Erie. and Lake Ontario, and these are for these storms that are coming across Cleveland here. You can see this line of storms here coming across the Cleveland, Ashtabula, Mentor, up through that area there, and this is a lake enhanced thunderstorms here as they're coming off Lake Erie here. And this could, another area where flooding could be, but so far we just have that severe thunderstorm warning and that marine warning, excuse me, for some of these storms that could spin up either gusty winds off the lake, or they could spin up possibly strong small craft water spouts here for the near shore waters and the open waters off here. So hazards: wind gusts in excess of 50 knots and large hail here, and boats could suffer damage. So there's this marine warning here for some of these storms that could spin up all that, but it's also going to bring hail on land here. So if you're in that area here, I can show you the velocity here. We can look at here. You can see the straight line winds coming there off the lake there, and there's no coupling, but there's just straight line winds coming off the lake there. And the precipitation depiction here, you can see it's very heavy rain streaming right off the lake here. Lake enhanced showers here, bringing in those differential temperatures. The cool waters of the lake feeding off the warm air mass that's present from Cleveland all the way up through Erie and Ashtabula. Okay, and that's what the differentials creating those hail and 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts in that area. So be careful, my friends, if you're in that area. I'm going to zoom back out here, and if you can see the national picture here, and you can see those warnings extend all the way up into Ontario, Canada, the Horseshoe area from Toronto, Hamilton, Niagara Falls, back up into Canada, northern Ontario, excuse me, from Peterborough, Barrie, and those areas that kind of, but back mainly to the homeland here. You can see we just have those cluster of storms in Atlanta that I talked about, those warnings, and the severe thunderstorm warnings up along the lakes, and then those brief severe thunderstorm warnings in Colorado and the high plains, which is to be expected as the frontal system moves along. So this has been your update. Thank you for joining me on the Weather Guru. Please be sure to subscribe for the latest interpretation of the weather in the lower 48 as it happens. Thank you so much. Take care.